Well, that was a good session.
So that's what happened. So that's what happened
Glad the
last week.
campaign's over now.
That's what happened last week. A lot of preparations and things like that. You got aboard the ship. You flew away just as you could see the army of the Heartless King was closing in. Probably still a couple days from engaging, but close enough that certainly no one else is getting out the city. The skies are a chill, somewhat damp place. You're stuck having to go along the like deck of the ship and like scrape ice off that gathers, and you have to like every now and then like go to the net and like shake it really hard, and frost falls from it. The moon is large in the sky, and it still has this big like halo around it. Still this celestial moon, the ice halo that sort of is all around it. It really hasn't gone away. It's always kind of maintained from the cold in the air, the ice crystals in the air. You sail away from this Rotsfjord Peak, leaving it far in the distance. You can just barely make out its sort of jagged black form jutting from the landscape into the darkened, sort of dark gray skies. You travel like that for like a couple days. For the most part, up in the airship, the danger, immediate danger is past. You have no reason to think that there's going to be any sort of attacks or anything like that. The only one who seemed really dangerous to a flying airship would be the woman in white, who could be very dangerous, but she seems to be otherwise occupied. Nipsey has the like navigator setup table setup has been made like in a large sort of cabin area on the deck that actually is fairly warm. You can see that the cabin area below you actually doesn't have like a wooden floor. It has like metal grating, and you're able to look down on the engine that she built. It makes like a dull white glow, and it actually fills the room with a fair amount of warmth that emanates up from it.
Thanks, fuck.
You worry that perhaps there might be long-term effects, perhaps cancer.
That's fine.
We're getting radiation poisoning right now.
It's okay. I stay in here.
It's not like warm, but it's a lot better than outside. There's no frost that forms in or on the cabin. It's bearable in there.
You mean it's more closely acclimated for me? My home?
Yes, it does, and it does make a very quiet hum. And at first it's a little bit annoying, but then it almost becomes comforting, especially on the dark nights where it's almost silent except for the faint rustling of wind. That hum can actually be quite comforting, like white noise. White noise and white light and the navigator's table. The navigator's table has been set up with several other tables around that Nipsey has used for her own personal use. There's all sorts of engineering schemata across it, and there's even like an alchemist lab, and that's been set up. She's if you're in there working out on the navigator stuff out cool, there's times where like bump into her and stuff like that. It's not wildly open or anything like that. Even so, lately she's had a long list, that like a sheaf of paper that's almost a foot and a half long at this point, where she's just been writing in rather large, sort of stylish letters, names for the ship that she's trying to come up with. At the top of her list is Carrington, named after her lovely metal husband. At the bottom of her list, as far as you can tell, is the name the Cheese Grater. You're not sure what exactly that means to her, but she does have that one underlined.
Maybe she's the.
I'm all in on the cheese grater.
She says,
I don't know how I feel about that one.
what do you think about the cheese grater? Like we cut through the air like a piece of cheese.
No.
Not
bookmark
super
now.
fast, but pretty fast. I'm gonna circle it as a possibility.
Sure. What
No.
other possibilities do you have?
Oh, we've got the sparking pantaloons. I like that
Okay.
one too. It makes it sound fancy, and whenever your pants spark, it looks like you're running faster. And you do run faster because your pants are on fire. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I also don't know how to feel about that.
How about the Droxum's wings?
The what?
The Droxum's wings. I mean, we are close to the
Everyone,
Droxum mountain range.
everyone disliked that.
Hey, at least I'm coming up with something.
That sounds so dire. Why not Fred?
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
But
It's Superman!
We're Superman, the ship, the movie.
Based on the board
We
game,
should-
based on the video
we
game.
should call it Cam Newton because it's eventually going to crash and burn in the countryside.
Oh no. Don't do that. He doesn't deserve that.
Hey, he's my favorite player. I get the shit on him sometimes.
He doesn't deserve that. Alright.
Yeah, bastard. But I mean, the engine does glow, so the glowing something, I don't know.
Alright. So we've got the cheese grater. We've got the sparking pantaloons.
God damn it.
Hmm.
I can come up with a name.
Yeah?
Yes. Give me a minute.
We've got Carrington. The Droxon rings.
Wait, did you say rings?
Wings.
Yeah, I was gonna say wing.
Steel Dragon?
A steel dragon, that's fine.
We could name it after Gehenthramos.
I like it. I like it. I don't know who Gehenthramaz is, but the name sounds fancy. What do you think, Yanduin? We could name it Yanduin's flight spell. I'm
That's
just,
an oddly specific name.
I'm just poking fun at you. You'll get your magic back one day, buddy.
F. I'm trying to come up with some names. I'm thinking. It's always hard.
I know, naming is like the hardest thing. That's why I recycle mine.
That's why we're gonna go ahead and talk about it and get it out the way. That way I can go ahead and enter it into the ledger of my memory. This is gonna take a while for me to remember it.
Isn't Sid's airship in Final Fantasy always called Blackjack in like all of them?
Called like
No.
the High Wind and
Not necessarily.
Sometimes, yeah. You got the
Sometimes-
Highwind, you got the Enterprise.
Yeah, wasn't
Yeah,
one of them
uh,
called like
The
Excalibur?
Black. Yes, I believe so. Blackjack, I think, was Sets.
Blackjack was Sid.
Or not Sets. Cypher?
God
One of
damn
the
you,
dudes
Cypher.
in number 6.
Abigail says we could call it New Fortitude.
I think I gotta go bring Joe's.
That's okay.
Maybe we can call it Joe's dinner.
We got
And yeah, Blackjack is Final Fantasy VI. It's owned by Setzer.
we got Reed's suggestion of the Droxon wings. Wow, I can't believe the cheese grater's gonna end up winning this.
No!
I'm just rolling like a d6.
That sounds like the worst way to handle this. Do we want to... Oh. Well, at the end of the day,
It has
it's
a glowing
Nipsey,
engine.
yeah?
We should call it Serenity.
Fate's engine.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Oh. Abigail says, well, what's the ship for? What are we using it for? For traveling, yeah. But like what does it mean in the grand scheme of things? Like in the world? I mean, we're fulfilling prophecy, right? Our destiny.
We'll call it Destiny's Child.
I want to be Beyonce.
You can be the successful.
We could be
Beyonce!
We could be Destiny's Herald. We could be the Harbinger.
I do like the Harbinger. That's a pretty good one. Just calling it the Harbinger.
I always go to thinking too much in these kind of things.
Likewise.
That's a good one. We're writing that one down.
It's better than the cheese grater.
Yeah, you hear Nipsey go, oh, fuck you! Cheese Grater's a great name!
That's Caracas' penis's name.
Oh shit.
Why?
Oeka.
Why though?
This Cloaca has
Chloe's revenge.
No.
the Slippy Tendril.
Oh.
No.
We could call it... I like that I went and rolled a random airship name and I got Black Justice.
That's a great one, man. Call it Malcolm X.
Maybe not.
Everyone get on board the Malcolm X.
Let's see, what else? I like this, this fate, sort of thread we're pulling at. Maybe something like the Oracle?
Yeah.
A Black Oracle.
You can name it the sound of a dog's squeaky toy.
Yeah, it's just...
I wonder how you would spell that.
Carefully.
Well, I think he got us a lot to work with. You got me a lot to think about. I guess the cheese grater might not be the best. It is pretty good though, but maybe not the best.
Definitely the most interesting, I'll give you that.
Well, I'll run some ideas by. Fate's Engine, pretty good. Harbinger, pretty good. Oracle, that kind of thing. I think we'll, maybe have a vote on it? That seems fair, right?
Sure.
Alright. Once everybody gets here, we'll, take votes on what we think the best name is, or you can come up with a better one, we can add it in. Currently, we've got the Cheese Grater, the Sparking Pantaloons, Carrington, the Droxon Wings, Steel Dragon, Fate's Engine, the Harbinger, and the Oracle. Alright. Well, I guess we should sleep on it, right?
Sure.
Literally. We're gonna sleep on the ship right now!
Yeah, there's not much else to sleep, but unfortunately this ship isn't very big. We're gonna have to sit down for resupplies pretty often until we get some upgraded cargo space or something like that. That being said, thanks to the navigator's table, we should be able to find settlements pretty easily. Usually they're on coasts and rivers, and at least for Stahlreich, Alec Cool's book on latitudes and degrees has a lot of the more medium-sized towns and cities around, so it shouldn't be too bad. He might have to do some plotting, but thanks to the navigator's table, he can do that pretty easily. I'm afraid we've got a couple more people than I was planning on bringing, but that's okay. We can just sit down for a resupply and top everything off here in the next day or two. Alec, cool, what kind of towns are we looking at? Go ahead and roll a Navigator's Tools intelligence check.
Okay.
I wonder why the hair in my beard is red in a lot of places.
I'm starting to get gray hairs in my beard.
Starting to get gray hairs
Me
in my
too.
ass.
You might want to get that one checked out. I don't know what to tell you, fam.
I just
So
like...
it's intelligence plus proficiency, right?
Yes. I like... Sometimes, I like whenever I go to the doctor, I'll say I have a problem with my ass just so they'll stick my finger up there and I can have some intimacy.
They stick your finger up your own ass?
Yeah, they take my hand and they show me how to do it.
It's a 14.
Alright. There are two towns, only about maybe 4 or 5 days away. One slightly more straight to the south, and one in a more southwesterly direction.
Where are we at right now? Like on the Starlight map.
You're like, maybe like, down
Right in
here.
front of you, yeah. Can you point out where where those towns would be?
There's one straight to the south that is on the Emperor's March.
Okay.
There's one slightly more to the southwest that's at the edge of the Droxon, or not Droxon, but at the edge of the Grunwald Forest, or where it's beginning.
Alright. And we
It
were
looks like
headed
the
to Frost, correct?
That's still not completely determined. I think so, but it's all sort of in the general same direction.
Okay.
Right now you could be theoretically heading to Weissenberg, and you're still kind of going in this direction. Probably to
Sure.
skirt around the mountain range.
Well, I mean, let's see.
These
I-
dudes still need to hit a
I
top,
say
don't
maybe the one closer to the woods because I imagine the one right on the Emperor's March might have been hit by the Redeemer, so they might not still be quite as outfitted as before.
You can see the one that is on the Emperor's the Emperor's March is a happy little town called Roan, spelled R-O-A-N. That one will be very easy to find. You don't have to do anything but pick out the Emperor's March. The other town is a little bit smaller, a little bit more out of the way, called Primrose. It's right at the edge of the where the tree line starts getting a little bit more dense into the Grunwald Forest, the band of forest that sort of runs all through this section, technically.
Okay. Oh, that section. Yeah. So I say down there.
Well, I mean, it's up here, but it's up here, but the Grunwald Forest runs through all this section,
Yeah.
like all through here.
Okay. But yeah, I say the one near the forest just because I think that one would have been more out of the way of the Redeemer.
The town of Primrose. A little bit harder to navigate, but with your navigation roll, you're pretty able to at least get it in the right direction. Go ahead and give me a perception check. I guess I'll roll for random
Uh-oh.
encounters, since now you're traveling. Oh shit.
Well,
That's
good thing I have a plus
plus
12.
12. That could be
Man.
worse.
Sneeze. Okay. Like I can feel a sneeze coming on, but it doesn't want to come.
Hey Nick, that image you sent in that one, oh, that wasn't Nick, that was Rick. Tell Rick that I hate him for that image. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, Lady Dimitrescu Thornberry.
Wait, what I missed?
And what?
In the old D&D chat
Well,
that's never used. Who the fuck left?
I hate that.
You,
I don't like that.
Not like that.
after 2 days of traveling, Alec Cool, you're sort of there at the airship engine. It's dark night once again. You've had another couple days. Suppose I should actually move days forward. Couple days of travel. The northern coast is a fairly barren and boring landscape below you. It's mostly ice and snow and rock, the occasional scrubby plant or tree. Finally, you can see there are evergreen trees that are beginning to sort of pop up every now and then below you. Great firs and pines and things like that. The ground becomes less ice-covered. Still large patches of snow, but even so, it becomes noticeably lessened. And on one of those nights where you're huddling in the warmth of the navigator's room with the elemental engine sort of pouring heat up through the vents from below, you've grown so used to the hum that to hear it interrupted even a little bit is unusual. You hear what sounds like footsteps or sort of shuffling footfalls below on the ground, sort of underneath the decks down below, like in the cargo holds and in the engine room. But you don't see anything whenever you look through the grating.
Is anybody awake near me?
Everybody else has very small cabins that they're able to retire to, not necessarily needing the heat, or wanting the heat as much as Alec Cool does, who comes from a desert climate.
So there's is Nipsey around or?
Not that you've seen. It seems like everyone's retired for the night.
Well, I guess I ask who's down there.
Who dat?
You say, "Hey, who dat?"
Jesus Christ.
And the shuffling stops immediately, but you don't hear any call from below.
After a brief moment of silence, you hear it. Daddy! Is that you, Daddy?
It's me.
It's a stowaway.
Mr. Deacon got rid of us, Daddy. Doesn't notice me anymore.
Did it?
Told me he got tired of scratching my butthole and sniffing my fingers, Daddy.
Jesus fucking
He
Christ.
said that was weird.
Why? Why?
Just making sure the vintage is still intact, Daddy.
What the fuck? I hate you so much, Colin, sometimes.
After you calmed down, you heard no more shuffling, but nothing answered you either.
Well, I mean,
It may have just been Carrington. Sometimes he gets up and, despite his rather, his nature being that of more of a, less of a warforged and more of an animated servant, he does wander every now and then.
well,
And he can't talk, so, except to say Nipsey.
well, is anybody awake? I go in and walk around.
Alright. As you look out on deck, hoping to see someone awake, you can see there is someone awake. You can faintly see a little bit of the silvery moonlight glinting off the brass form of Abigail, who stands at the rail, sort of looking over the edge.
Abigail, you weren't just down in the engine room, were you?
She sort of looks at you and... No, I was I'm afraid not. I've been up here all night just thinking about home.
Well,
Why did...
since you're awake, I heard somebody moving down there. Would you care to accompany me to make sure everything's in working order?
Of course. She sort of moves back a little bit. She doesn't seem particularly perturbed by the cold air at all. As she follows you down below decks to towards the engine room and the cargo hold. It is pitch black down here in the darkness of the night. You can right now only hear the vague hum of the engine and the occasional gust of wind that blows the airship about. Does Alec Cool have dark vision? Did Red Green have dark vision? I can't remember.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I do.
Abigail does not, however. As she sort of
She needs the night vision goggles.
awkwardly, she sort of says, oh, I suppose I could turn into something with dark vision. Or at least low light vision. As you can see her, she sort of...
Thank you, Max.
You're welcome. Shrinks down to what appears to be a very large Maine Coon cat that has bronze fur.
How horrifying.
As it sort of
Hell yeah, Maine Coons.
she kind of begins stalking around towards the left side of the cargo hold, moving amongst crates and boxes towards the back where the engine room is. What do you do?
I stealth around and try and see if I see anybody.
Alright, Beaver's given us his account number. Hold it up closer
Oh,
to
yeah.
the camera. Hold it up closer. I want to buy some
There's,
new.
there's the one where all the numbers.
I
on
want to
the
buy
back
a new
saying
graphics
15
card for
people.
Cody to make me a new computer.
Good luck. There's no graphics cards anywhere.
I'll flash my boobies. They'll give me it. Or my boobies.
Hey,
The
Joke's on-
price. Go ahead.
joke's on you, man. That's my dad's card, and he has to pay alimony pretty soon. So
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
Your dad's gonna buy me a solid gold toilet lid.
No, $400 MSRP graphics cards are currently selling for about $800-900.
I wonder why stuff like this happens. I hate them.
Um,
Go ahead and give me
honestly,
give me a perception check, Alec.
yeah, I'll bet back.
honestly, a good portion of it has to do with crypto mining.
I kind of figured. I was like, is crypto mining on the rise again?
Yep.
I'm gonna start a new cryptocurrency called Buttcoin.
I wish you luck in your endeavors.
27.
Alright. As you make your way, with Abigail making her way down the left-hand side, you turn and sort of begin making your way down the right-hand side, slowly and cautiously scanning, every step of the way scanning and the general area, stopping every now and then, holding your breath and listening. You don't hear Abigail at all, but on the left-hand side, you do see the faint shake of a barrel and a very large shadow. Well, not very large, moderately sized shadow that sort of scrambles away, just in time to see the sort of brass cat form of Abigail appear, looking around.
The brass cat.
Brass
How
cat.
horrifying.
You can see she lifts her nose to the air, but she doesn't seem to have noticed.
I move towards it.
Alright. Abigail hops up a barrel and sort of looks curiously up at you, moving to this side.
And you said it was still in the barrel?
It wasn't. It wasn't in the barrel. It looked like it was behind the barrel and darted away, farther back towards the towards the engine room, away from the direction Abigail was moving in.
I quickly tell her to follow me, and we go to point to where the engine room is.
All right. The two of you sweep backwards, and you can see there is a like a small divider that separates the main cargo hold from the engine room. It's a simple wooden divider that has a wooden door in it. The door opens slightly, and you can see the light from the engine pour out for just a minute before it closes. Even that catches Abigail's eye, as she almost immediately, you can see the hackles on her sort of rise up. You can see the claws just sort of dig into the top of a barrel that she's walking on. The door stands before you, closed. Elemental engine, and whoever made that sort of movement, probably likely hidden behind.
I try and get through.
Alright. The door easily opens. There is a brief burst of light as a sort of like a burst of energy that is sort of faint green flies out. Oh wow, that's a good roll. 21 versus armor class against Alec Ghoul.
Wow.
As soon as the door opened, a eldritch blast was fired through it. For 1 point of damage, and the second attack slams into the wall next to you. You can see a form maybe 4.5 feet tall, clad in sort of very dark clothing with a very heavy black cloak wrapped around them, sort of darts away after firing the shot off and hides behind the engine, saying, Don't come in here.
Why? This is our ship.
Because I'll blast you, that's why.
You're gonna blast me with that horribly wasteful spell of yours?
Yes. You don't.
I'm
That
not-
was just that was just the weakest part of me. You don't want me shooting off something a lot stronger.
Okay then, tell me your name and tell me why you're here then.
My name is Jeff. I am actually a figment from your future.
I doubt that.
Doubt.
Sí, mi nombre es Jefe.
Okay, he got a 6 on his deception, as he's clearly
Nice.
lying. I'm a figure from your past.
Still doubt that.
Your present?
No.
We already went through that game.
Any visions I receive from past, future, or present come in my head, not as some midget running around in my ship.
Hey, that's worked before. You'd be surprised.
Well, I'm not stupid. Some other people may be. Just tell me why you're actually here, and there doesn't need to be any reason anybody comes to harm.
What do you mean, why am I here? Do you see what was happening in that town? Everybody was taking the chance to get out if they had the opportunity, and I took mine.
So you're a stowaway.
I feel like that is a very cruel way to call that. I believe, opportunistic passenger, perhaps?
We're gonna go with
I like this
stowaway
guy.
because that's shorter.
Oh, what, is that a short joke?
Yeah.
No, but it can be.
Huh. Joke's on you. I'm the shortest joke around here.
What does that
Doubt
mean?
that actually.
Look, I ain't... he sort of pops out from behind the engine. Now, I apologize for attacking you. I ain't interested in killing you or even hurting you that badly. It's just you kind of surprised me a little bit.
Well,
I reckon by this point we're pretty far outside the city, so unless you're planning to throw me off, even then it's probably better to be thrown off here than in the city, but I mean, I'm real, like, good with my hands. I'm not meaning like that as a sex thing or anything. I mean, I'm pretty stealthy. I can be I can do work and things like that. You give me a poisoner's kit, I can whip you up something pretty impressive.
well,
And all I ask is for the low monthly stipend of whatever it would cost to be on this ship.
look, it's not for me to decide, but you just come up with me. I've got navigating to be doing. And you can deal with other people in the morning.
Well,
I'm not gonna throw you off unless you give me a reason to.
sort of eyes you. I believe you. And he sort of slowly walks forward with his sort of hands up a little bit, saying, I promise you. I won't be shooting no more Eldritch blasts at you.
Thank
Oh
you.
my god, you got yourself a little kitty cat. As he reaches out and pats Abigail's head.
Yeah, it's a kitty cat.
God, that's like petting steel
Pat,
wool.
pat, 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 pat.
Why
It's
is
like
it
petting
so hard?
steel wool, Scott's Bright.
Wow, this cat's fur's pretty rough.
Because it's not actually a cat, friend.
Feels like bleeding.
What is it, a dog or something?
No, it's a person.
Oh, you hippies and your animals. They're people. Yeah, that's how it is. Alright, up to the top. As Abigail transforms back. Oh shit! You weren't lying, that is a person.
No, I have very little reason to lie.
Doubt.
Lead on, Mr.
My name is Alec Cool.
Nice to meet you, Alicool. Lead on, Mr. Alicool.
Alec cool.
As he sort of follows you up to the top deck, and well, as soon as he emerges, he sort of stretches. Oh yeah. Starts to smell fresh air and get to stretch my legs a little bit. He's surprised how much how hard it can be for someone even the size of a halfling can stretch their leg or to stretch their legs in a cargo hold. Got any food?
No.
Not right now.
That's okay. I brought my own.
We don't eat here.
As he sort of Abigail says, I think I'll go wake Nipsey to see what she has to say about this.
Thank you.
As she sort of goes to the cabin area, you and the halfling make your way towards the navigation room, as he sort of says, looks down in the grates, says, huh, I peek to look up here every now and then. I didn't know exactly what it would be like actually up here, but I think I saw you a couple times.
That's because up until just then, I haven't left here since we left.
Did you get out more? I mean, look
Rather
at the view.
not.
He points outside. Look at that view out there.
I can see it from in here.
You're, one of them Thrycreen, aren't you?
I am.
No.
You'd be crazy to know you're probably not even the third Thrycreen I've ever met. Most people around here, they ain't exactly seen that part of the world, but I myself am quite a well-traveled man.
Oh yeah?
Oh yes.
When was the last time you went?
Well, went where exactly? I've been here and there and everywhere.
He's been everywhere, man.
If you're talking about when was the last time I went to the lovely desert nation of Bayaz Kumlahar, well, it's been near about 20 years, but I still remember it quite vividly.
Well, it's been a little while since I've been back home, but maybe soon enough.
He sort of pats around and he pulls out a flask, like a silver flask, from a pocket that you have no clue where this pocket was. It's almost like like he reaches into his cloak and pulls out a flask and opens it. Long lost homes. As he downs it, screws the top back on, and almost sort of reaches into his cloak, and the flask almost seems to disappear.
Where are you from?
Oh, a little bit of here, a little bit of there. I myself haven't really had a home since I was a young little halfling. I've been on the road pretty much my entire life, going on 80 years at this point. Oh, I've seen a lot. Wonderful cities, Weissenberg. Walked its streets for almost a decade. Prost is its own beast, you understand? It's not a lot of very stuck-up people. Especially if you can't use the normal magics, if you know what I'm saying. I even spent a couple of years in the Jinma Dynasty. That place is, I'm happy to be gone from it. Truthfully, I did not spend much time in the Jinma Dynasty as what you would call a guest, so much as, well, I guess you could call it an involuntary guest. And about that time, Abigail sort of comes with Nipsey, and Nipsey's and Carrington following close behind, saying, It's so late.
It is. We have a uninvited guest that on the ship. I don't believe I got his name, but here he is.
It is quite rude of me not to introduce myself. As you are the captain of this ship, you are more than happy to call me Lincoln. I myself am a rather traveled man who has various skills that could easily be offered to you, and I'm more than happy to practice those skills for simple passage. Wherever you see fit, really. Wherever you're going. I am fairly skilled in the arts of poison making. As Nipsey just kind of stares at him. Get him a blanket, and we'll figure this out in the morning.
I figured.
Carrington sort of goes and disappears. He comes back with a blanket. You don't mind if I sleep in here with you, Bugman, right?
Sure, knock yourself out. There's a chair in the corner.
I am much obliged, friend. As he goes and he sits in the chair and covers himself up with a blanket. Sort of almost immediately closes his eyes and sort of dozes off.
Whatever. I tell Nipsey, I give her the rundown about roughly how long we'll be, which, I don't know, it's another day or two or whatever.
Just about to the town of Primrose. She sort of shrugs and says, maybe we'll toss him off there, I don't know.
Off the edge.
Well, if he's gonna be sleeping up here, just keep an eye on him when you can. Make sure he doesn't steal anything.
Yep. I don't sleep a lot, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, I might have other people, maybe alternating watches on him just in case.
That would be nice. I do need to sleep eventually today.
Carrington, stay up here in the navigator's room. If anything happens, I mean, you know what to do. As Carrington says, Nipsey, and sort of strides forward into the room, and stands there stock still in the middle of it, right by the navigator's table. Nipsey goes back down, turns in, and from what you can tell, there's not a peep from Lincoln for the rest of the night, except for the occasional deep bellowing snore.
How does he snore?
Not only every
One more time?
It's not constant. It's only the occasional snore. As this light, as the moon sort of lowers in the sky and it lightens from dark blue to lighter blue all the way to oranges, and the sun begins to rise, the rest of the crew wakes up to find a new addition. Some would call it stowaway. Some might call it passenger of opportunity.
Karakwa handles this well. Who is this?
Some midget.
Oh, okay.
Away.
As soon as you say, who the fuck is this, he like darts up, throwing the blanket off, like falling off the chair, a look of shock on his face. You started me there. He looks around at everyone gathered. You know, I ain't a fighting man, but I don't like these odds much.
Good, because one of us would probably be more than enough. No offense. Maybe not Ito.
Yeah, Ito would probably lose easily.
In fact, if you picked a fight with him, we'd probably pay to watch it.
Yeah, we would help you, in fact.
Hey, I don't need to, I'm not here to fight or anything like that. Besides, that guy looks like he's disappointed enough people in his life.
Ain't that the truth?
Nipsey sort of strides forward and says, this is a stowaway. I'm sure you've heard of them before, right?
Yeah.
I have an idea of what that is, though I am not quite the traveler of ships per se.
He claims to be, you can see, he sort of opens his mouth, he goes, ah! That seems pretty rude to call me a stowaway.
I mean, did you not stow away on our ship?
I mean, I did, but that don't make it any less rude. You can just call me a friend now. As he reaches out his hand to shake, Klaus's hand. Right?
You don't want to touch that. And he just kind of like Klaus reels his hand back, like.
Too slow.
More
Too slow.
More for your sake, man.
I mean, I'm, as Nip says, a stowaway. Now this stowaway has said he can, offer certain services to this ship for passage, and we do have room on board for another couple people. But, even so, we couldn't just throw him off at the next town. I mean, not off the edge, to die. We could just kick him out on the ground. I'm not interested in killing him. He hasn't really done anything too bad. As Abigail says, he shot eldritch blasts at us last night.
At me, yes, and...
I mean...
That's just a misunderstanding, darling.
Who hasn't shot the others? Who hasn't shot the others blast at their friends every once in a while?
I like this guy. This guy gets it. It happens sometimes. So what do you think? Kick him off or keep him on?
Well, what is qualifications?
I am very skilled with a poison kit. I myself.
Sold.
I myself can well, I managed to sneak on this ship. I'm pretty good at finding my way around things and sneaking about. I can
True.
I'm actually
You did find
very
room on the ship.
very
but
worldly.
I don't know if you picked the right ship.
I'm very worldly. I got a way of being able to sort of go into towns and get information, kind of thing. Like I said, I'm not much of a fighter, but I'm pretty good at finding things out. I got a real way with people. They seem disarmed around me a lot of times. I make friends real fast. Always have.
So you're doing a good job of it, I think.
I'm fine with it as long as it doesn't become a problem.
I could do a demonstration for you with my poisoner's kit. You just want what I can do.
All right. And
Now.
Klaus will just supply him with his.
Oh, thank you. He takes it to near the on sort of near Nipsey's workbench, and you can see he sets up several sort of vials, and he seems to reach into his cloak and pull out several herbs and things like that. As he begins sort of crushing, and so he takes like a mortar and a pestle, and he starts grinding stuff down. He says, I don't want to make it anything too exciting to start out. I'm a little bit strapped for certain ingredients, unfortunately, but I got some very basic stuff. Any of y'all want to be a guinea pig? I promise it's not going to be deadly or anything like that. I guess maybe I could be. Nobody else wants to volunteer.
What exactly is it?
Yeah, what are you making?
I call this restless legs poison.
What does it do?
I thought the name was pretty obvious. It makes your legs restless. Makes you kind of want to dance.
Give it to me, Joe.
Oh,
I mean,
he says, well, if there's no volunteers, I guess I earned this. He sort of takes the, the stuff in the, pestle and he, mixes it with some other, adds a couple of what looks like sprigs of a flower that has like little blue, petals on it and grinds it up. He puts it over flame for a couple of minutes and pulls it away, and it's like a very, almost sort of very dry, very sticky paste. As he takes a small metal spoon and he pulls it out.
quick question.
Yeah.
Is Poisoner's Kit inherently, I know it is inherently different, but how much inherently different is a Poisoner's Kit from like alchemy stuff?
Fairly different. Different enough that it's not the same
Ideas.
proficiency. Thing like that.
Right. Okay.
He takes it and he slathers it on a small knife, or the tip of it, and then he sort of takes it and he like takes his hand, he just jabs the tip of the knife into his hand, and then waits for a moment and then kind of starts bouncing in place. Begins kicking his legs, sort of flailing his legs a little bit wildly as he says, "This'd be a lot better with a little bit of music, but I suppose it's already awkward enough, right?"
Oh, that seems kind of fun.
As he
Klaus
kind of
takes the
kicks-
dagger and stabs his hand.
As you stab it, does not have any effect on you. He says, I'm afraid that only made a single use of it. For game purposes, the stuff he does, once you code it and use it, it's used up.
Okay.
For in-game purposes,
Right.
once the poison's used up, it has to be basically reapplied. But I can make more if you're interested in dancing. And his legs kind of flail, not for very long. Maybe half a minute to a minute before they sort of die down. You'd be surprised how useful that could be when you're trying to get away from someone that's chasing you. Maybe throw a little dart. All of a sudden they have to stop dead and dance.
Also pretty good motivation for when you have to run.
You can manage your legs that well. But sure. I got lots of poisons like that.
What are they doing?
They're doing the sex.
The butt stuff. It is Valentine's Day.
That was their Valentine's thing for each other. Is they're gonna have sex in the middle of D&D right in front of us in camp.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Baby, come here. I want to stare down your throat hole with a flashlight.
Yeah. My dick's
It'll be
hard.
hot.
My dick's rock hard already. Mostly for Cody, not for Laura. He says, Nipsey says, pretty useful, I guess. Like I said, we've got room for an extra crew. I suppose
yeah,
we can keep you around until, well, we'll keep you around until we can find someone better. How about that?
As long as we have someone who can teach me how to make poison.
Oh yeah,
I got it. Cool.
I can do that. I can teach you how to. Are you familiar with the Poisoner's Kit?
Game-wise, not proficient. No, this is one that Klaus has picked up.
I can teach you that. More than happy. I'm more than happy to. No problem at all. I myself had a very good master, and I learned a thing or two about teaching from him. You seem an astute sort. I mean, really, might be the smartest one here, you liked me right off the bat.
Well, I've
I
also
think
made pretty bad decisions on impulse before.
Also, I don't know if he likes you per se. No offense. Not like that.
Well, I like him. I like you too, Buckman. You're good swords.
Thank you.
Alright.
What did you say your name was?
My name's Lincoln.
Lincoln. I'm Klaus.
It's lovely to meet you, Klaus, and, Alec Cool. Pretty sure I heard your name mentioned once or twice. Reed Caraqua. Of course, the captain, Nipsey Brightbuckle. Like I said, I've got a way of paying attention to information, but you never reveal your hand until you have to. So where do I sleep? As Nipsey just sort of sighs and says, "Okay, I'll take you to a cabin." And you got a new crew member, the poisoner slash best guy who's good at getting information from towns, Lincoln. This goes to another thing you can do to upgrade your airship, which is hire crew members.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's like there's an entire mechanic he built around this.
It's like it's a role-playing game where our decisions affect the world.
Alright. It's only a day out from Primrose, and that next day, Lincoln endeavors to ingratiate himself to the crew as he spends a lot of time with you, Klaus. Sort of initially he just goes over the parts of a poisoner's kit. Most of it's very simple, mortar and pestle, things like that. He does go on to say things like always make sure after you're done you clean up out of all your vials real well, because you don't want a lot of this stuff mixing together, because if you got one poison mixed with others, sometimes the effects can be, well, let's just say you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Don't be mixing your drugs.
Exactly. A lot of times it mostly just makes the poisons ineffective. That's bad too if you're trying to make a poison, you know? But he shows you the parts of the poisoners kit, and soon you find yourself, with Alec Cool's help, navigation, sort of over the town of Primrose, or very close to it. You can see far below you. It's right at the edge of the Grunwald forest, so it's sort of at a forest line, essentially, just outside of it. It's a little town, sort of with its backed up against the forest, and it has what appears to be like wooden palisades, sort of completely surrounding it. The buildings look like they're mostly made of wood, understandably, and you can see curls and tendrils of smoke rising up from chimneys. You can estimate there's probably at least maybe 300 to 400 people that live in this town. You can see outside the city there is a large, what appears to be lumber mill of some kind. You can actually see there are like mules that walk around in a circle. They pull or they're like yoked to a mechanism that causes a saw to reciprocate up and down, and you can see wood being fed into it. Large trees from the Grunwald forest being cut into planks and things like that. Nipsey says, "Right, this is the place. How do we want to embark? Do we want to set down, or do we want to send ropes down?" Well, I guess we might need to resupply. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we don't crash this thing.
I will give her the help action. And hey, Karako, could you give her guidance?
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
Well, we're gonna net roll a 3.
Yeah.
Critically
I
fails.
was gonna grab hold of the sides of the ship,
Alright,
like the oh my god handles in a car.
so she has advantage. Well, it's not Well, the 9 is better than the 1. Then she has it's wisdom, so plus.
Fuck me, she actually did roll a 1 on the first
Oh
one.
my
Yeah.
god, she did.
You shouldn't have said anything. She gets to add a D4 to that.
Hey, 10's average. That's good enough, right?
You fucked up.
That's okay because it's a wisdom navigator's tool proficiency, and she has she is actually proficient in both. Or no, technically it's a wisdom vehicle check, but she's proficient in this because it's her ship. So it's plus 3. It's gonna be 13 plus. It's gonna be a 16 total.
Thank fuck.
It's not a. It is not a smooth landing by any means at all. As it does go down pretty hard. I need everyone to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Where'd the bar go?
If you're on not the cover page where your character is, you can't use the little hotbar.
Oh, interesting.
Found that out.
You have to be able to select like your token and stuff.
Right.
I want to see Ito fall.
Everybody
Die.
just pushes Ito off. Get fucked, retard.
Oh well. Pretty good, for the most part, good enough saving throws, I think. It lands with a heavy crash. Well, not heavy crash, that's probably overselling it. It does not land very smoothly as it bounces across the ground a couple of times, and you find yourself thrown down as it hits the ground once and then sort of soars into the air for a couple feet, then hits the ground a second time, this time coming to an actual stop about 300 feet outside the city. Sort of nestled amongst the stumps of several large trees. As Nipsey sort of pops her head up, her hair sort of slightly askew, says, "Nailed it!"
Well, I guess as long as it's still usable.
High five.
She says, "Pretty good, right, Carrington?" He's pretty impressed. He's speechless. As she sort of you all slowly rise to your feet. You can see there are several people from Primrose already starting to head out. Most of them wield what appears like woodcutters' axes. A couple of them wielding saws. There's one guy that has a sword. It looks like a group of maybe a score of men, sort of slowly and a little bit nervously approaching. As the one wielding the sword, a sort of balding man with a large, bushy beard. He looks like he's probably in his maybe late 40s or early 50s, but he's very solidly and sturdily built. As he sort of holds up this sword and says, "Oh, hey! What are you doing in our town? Who's in there?"
Hello. We're,
"Oh my god, it's an alien from outer space!"
It's alright, I got this. Reed will hop up on the banister, bow.
"Oh my god.
Greetings, good
It's an
sir.
alien, another one. They're starting to take the shapes of our peoples."
No, sir, I'm just a little short. Me and my companions here were just traveling through, and we thought we would stop by to stock up on supply.
Klaus just popped down like, now where's your beer?
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Me? Or
I ain't doing
or
it.
him asking for the beer?
You, but you can have advantage for the help action, basically.
So that's a 14.
They lower their weapons. They don't like release them or sheath them, but they lower them. What brings you all the way out to Primrose, eh? We're just a little bit of a lumber town. We don't have much in the way of supplies or anything like that.
That's okay. We didn't want to.
Unless you're looking for some fine syrups. Got plenty of those.
Oh no, we've come to Canada. Well.
No, they already held weapons at us. This can't be Canada.
I hopped down and showed them the map. Like, we didn't want to bother the towns on the main road because of the attacks they'd have been undergoing. So.
What do you mean
we
attacks?
Came off. There was a man attacking towns a little bit on the march.
We ain't heard nothing about no men attacking towns. Our town's been mostly okay, except for the occasional problem with owlbears and things like that. But we mostly rolled them off. Yeah. We can do it pretty well.
But that's why we came here, because we figured you all would be a little bit more stable, and no one's been bothering you, so we didn't want to put a burden on a town that's already burdened enough, if that makes sense.
He sort of looks at you. Well, as long as you're not trying to cause any trouble or anything like that, you're welcome in the town of Primrose. Just you mind your P's and Q's now and don't be causing any trouble. We're a happy little town, yeah?
Of course.
Yeah, very happy.
Alright, now, you don't gotta make fun of their accent. What a jerk.
That's an interesting accent you got there, little man. Where you from?
I'm over in the from the Cotswold Plains, Vergild.
Oh yeah, about a couple people go around that way, but most of them never go back. At least not to here. They get that big city living. You know how it is.
It was never for me.
Turns and you head into the town itself. It's, like I said, quaint and small. Maybe a town of 300 to 400 people. It's not much of anything, but supplies they do have. He says, so, couldn't help but notice you came here by a pretty interesting machine there. As Nipsey pipes up, I built that!
She did indeed.
Oh.
I'm sure she'd be more than willing to tell you all about it.
To tell you the truth, that's exactly what I was going to ask. I mean, excitement like that doesn't come around a town like Primrose every day. You wouldn't mind if some of the kids and maybe some of the adult folks came on. You could have guards and things on there. We just want to go have a look around. It's kind of exciting. She's kind
I'm
of...
sure she would love to.
She sort of smiles. I would be more than happy to give you a tour. I can show you the elemental engine, and you can meet my lovely husband, Carrington. She turns and takes his head and starts dragging him away. He turns and says, you might just want to head to the, local watering hole, yeah? A lot of the merchants travel there during the day and, have a drink or two. You might be able to meet someone willing to sell you supplies and things like that.
Sure.
As he turns, he sort of points to a building in the distance that has a very large saw blade that's hanging over it. He said, that one right there? As Nipsey says, wait till you see all the detailing I did on the paneling on the inside. She excitedly, happy to talk to someone about her work, drags him away. The building that is before you is surprisingly spacious for a single-story building, and it looks like the ceilings rise up almost 15 feet, or actually arching up to maybe 20 feet in one place. The middle of the it almost looks like it has a central chimney that rises up directly from the middle of the building, and you can see smoke that is curling from it. The roof itself is simply a thatched roof, and you can hear the sound of chatter from within. Definitely sounds like what you would expect, a good-natured inn, filled with patrons. As soon as you enter, you can see they all very much resemble this man, sort of sturdily built, a lifetime of sort of wood cutting having caused them to gain a significant amount of muscle mass on their upper body. They seem to drink huge, like, wooden tankards that have been roughly hewn from wood, and it looks like each tankard is individual, as if each one has crafted their own individual tankard and thrown in their own little personality in each one. Some are more refined, and some almost look like they still got bark on the outside of it.
That's cool.
But as you enter, it like falls like dead silence as they look at you.
I like. All right, Mr. Talkie Man.
Oh, me?
Yeah, I kick you forward.
As always, Reed starts with a bow. Don't worry about us. Please continue on your merry way. And Reed will head up to the bar owner, or the
After Reed says that, I tell them we came in on an airship, and the captain is giving tours for children and adults alike. If you would like to do that.
A couple of them sort of look at each other and get up and walk out, but for the most part, most people just turn back to their drinks, shaking their head. One sort of seems to mutter like, "Some people are so easily excited over nothing." The bartender sort of is what appears to be a woman, probably in her mid-30s. She is not very pretty. Her skin is pretty heavily pockmarked. In fact, it almost resembles the very, very bark itself of the trees nearby, as she sort of raises one blonde eyebrow. Yeah. What are you looking for?
We're looking to resupply.
I hope you're not looking for anything too exciting, because we got syrup, wood, some game meats, things like that. How much you looking to buy? I myself have been known to be able to procure rations and things like that.
I would have to check with the captain on what she thinks that we would need, but enough for the lot of us for a little while, I'd say. We're going quite the ways.
You're welcome to sit down, have a drink.
Thank you.
We don't have any mugs, I'm afraid. Everyone just fashions their own. I don't suppose you know anything about wood carving. As she, like, reaches under the bar and hands you a rather rough wooden block. Pair of wood carver's tools.
I'd give it a try.
I've been AFK for a little bit, I'm sorry. Who all is here?
everybody.
Yeah, the party is
Basically, we've departed the ship. Nipsey's giving some of the townspeople a tour of it because it's like the most exciting thing that's happened for a while.
Is she charging for it? She should be charging for it.
No. Well, you see, they were pointing their weapons at us.
I guess that's fair. I would volunteer my services to help carve out some mugs if she would give us a discount on some supplies. I've been known to handle wood fairly well.
I bet.
Pun is intended, but it's also not a pun, if you get what I'm saying.
I'd like to try a whack at it too. Why not?
All right.
I actually have like carpenter's thing. I know that's not exactly wood carving, but they're somewhat related. So
That's fair enough. If you, she's hands several blocks of wood to you. You can carve these however you like. Like I said, everyone has their own distinct mugs. Some of them are are much better crafted than others. Some of them still have the bark on the outside, it looks like. What? She sort of stands back and says, "Been a long time since I've seen someone not from around here try to carve a mug. Might be interested. Hey, you got new ideas?" She
One way of
sort of
looking at
stands back to watch. To carve it is just a straight, like, carving, without trying to do anything special, like magic or otherwise, is a simple, basically a dexterity wood carver's tools check. I'll allow carpentry tools in this case.
sure. I don't go to add anything super special, unique. Like just a normal ass, reliable mug with just the most basic of design so it shows it's not just a piece of wood with a handle. If you get what I mean, like a rim and a bottom, and that's it.
It looks like it's a.
Just something.
Looking at this, it looks like it's pretty freshly cut within the last day or so. It's likely to add, even carving it, you can actually see there's like little shriveling leaves on it, slowly dying, and flowered petals on yours, on a small branch. But that being said, as she watches you carve it, she says, "We like to the break-in period's probably the best. The syrup adds flavor to the drink.
Okay.
Sap adds to it."
I don't know how to do a
Just roll.
a thing.
You can just
Dexterity add proficiency.
Yeah, pretty much.
So without it, we would just have dexterity.
Yep.
So it would not be a. So it would be a +4 added to that.
Yeah,
So a
six.
19. A 19 dexterity is what I rolled, Colin.
Good.
Yeah, 16.
Oh man, I gotta.
All right.
You fucked it up, Beaver.
Fastest got,
I made a bowl. I tried to make a fucking cup. I made a bowl.
you make a plate. Oh no.
What are you, retarded?
I forgot. We need handles.
Yo, Aruna's mug is banging.
Actually, I'm technically no wait.
It's
I
actually a
don't know.
dildo.
I actually have to read the rules on it. I don't know if I can add side bullshit back to that.
You don't know if you can what?
Add a class feature to that.
For something so minor, it doesn't matter. You're just carving a mug. It's not.
That brings up an interesting question though.
You get some pretty good mugs out of it. But for the most part, pretty simple. Not a lot of ornamentations. But you're actually surprised as she's able to pull out what appears to be shark skin to sand it down to perfectly smooth. She looks at you, your mug, Klaus, and she sort of says, "I don't think the shark skin is going to help that much, but it's a good first effort." As one of the children runs up holding up a mug that's better than Klaus's. I just made my first mug!
Are we in school now?
Oh come on.
It's pretty rough. It's not a great mug.
Yeah.
It's one, not circular, it's square.
It's
Oh.
not.
It's
Yes, that's what I want.
It's spherical.
it's got a lot of the bark on it in places. The hand, trying to carve in a handle, all you can do is fit 2 of your fingers in.
Yeah, I just got like 2 little divots for my thumb and pointer finger. That's not even a handle. It's just
Well, everybody gets a free drink in their first mug. As she sort of takes your mugs and fills them up, hands them back to you.
Hell yeah.
Very light, sort of sweet beer. As you down it, it's refreshing. She looks at you. She keeps every now and then saying, or doesn't keep saying that. She says, "So you're just here for supplies? How long do you think that's gonna take to I mean, how long do you think you're gonna be here?"
I would actually have to go ask the captain. I could go do that.
Okay, now you're at your leisure, but are you trying to leave as soon as possible, or you spend a day or 2 in town? We do have work for you if that's your desire.
Not quite sure. That I would definitely have to ask everyone about.
Ask away.
If you're going to be
Yeah.
spending time around town, just be careful not to go into the forest after nightfall. It's very dangerous in there.
I imagine.
Sure. Thanks for the tip. I'll go. I'll work on my drink and I'll go ask the captain what she thinks we'll need and how long she thinks we should stay.
All right. As you head back, you see the airship is pretty well packed with maybe 40 or 50 people all sort of walking around. Nipsey sort of happily shows them to various parts, saying, "It's hard to believe that we got this balloon from a trash can, basically, but we did." You can see Lincoln is also walking from person to person. You can, as you walk by him, he says to the man that was holding the sword earlier, seems to be a leader of some sort. He says, "So, what exactly goes on in this town, would you say? Anything odd? Anything interesting that's going on?" As he continues asking about things that is going on in the town. As he does so, you can see he reaches into his cloak and he pulls out the flask and says, "Might I offer you a drink, friend? We're all friends, after all, right?" As you walk by them, as he's talking to what appears to be the leader in this town, or a leader in this town. Nipsey, you have to wait for a couple minutes for Nipsey to get done talking to it, but she excitedly says, "You're interested in the airship. Most of the people back in Ertzig just thought it looked like a piece of junk."
Well, they're a little snobby about that kind of thing. Don't worry about it.
Did
Being
you
said,
hear
I did
anything
wanna
about
check-
supplies, or?
I just wanted to check how long we would need supplies for.
Oh, it'd probably take at least a day to load them up, maybe 2. I think that's a safe estimate.
So we're gonna stay like a couple days. How much supplies do you think we will need, though?
Well, for everyone on hand, I might be able to get enough supplies in. Let's see. There's, who needs to eat? Not Carrington. He's a stalwart hero, I suppose. So we've got, let's see, Baraqua, we've got you. We've got, let's see, Reed, Klaus, 7 party members.
Aruna does not need to eat unless it is something she.
Unless it's ass, right?
Exactly.
We got party members, and we got myself, Lincoln, Yonduin. We've got Lysanthia, Gondar and his family. I think we should be able to fill in enough rations in the boat to last us 2 weeks for everyone. Be a little expensive, but we've got money on hand, right? If not, I suppose there's something maybe we can do around town to earn it. These little towns are always so superstitious. They probably have some sort of crazy Wabajack or Bigfoot walking through the woods that we can deal with.
Can't be that bad.
Okay, so we'll get about 2 weeks worth of supplies, and yeah, go from there, I guess.
Alright. I'm doing math real fast to see how many.
Do the math. Do the thing.
To see how much it would cost for 2 weeks worth of rations for everybody on board. With a discount, buying in bulk. It's all things added up. It's probably gonna cost. We're gonna need rations for what? We'll go ahead and say 15 people, just in case. A little bit of extra. You can procure that. I think we should be good for at least a little while.
How long is a little while? A week?
A couple weeks.
2 weeks? 3 weeks?
2 weeks.
A month?
2 weeks.
A year? 20 years?
Would you call
15
20
years?
years a little while? You're not an elf.
Damn,
You look
got
like
him.
you're not an elf, but you do look like a sissy.
That's true.
Fuck.
These are all correct things that you are saying.
Your wiener is only 3 inches, but it sure smells like a foot.
How dare you call my penis so romantically smelling?
Alright, now.
Like the beautiful AOC flower back home.
Oh yeah.
I hate it so much.
We might be able to work something out with Mr. Jackson over there. He seems to be the one that's talking to Lincoln. He is, seems to be someone of importance, or at least the guy in charge. I think he runs the lumber mill. I was too excited. No. He's interested in the ship. And you can see Lincoln is there talking with him. It looks like, surprisingly enough, Mr. Jackson already appears a little bit inebriated after only having a sip from the flask of Lincoln, who's patting him on the back. As he says, Mr. Lincoln, or Mr. Jackson, I think you might have had a little bit too much to drink, friend. Why don't I walk you back to the town? As he turns and starts leading him off the ship. What would y'all like to do?
I go up to Mr. Jackson. It's like, so would you be able to procure supplies for us?
Ooh, surprise, eh? I could do that for my good friends. How much are you looking for? I can give you a.
Do we need about 2 weeks worth of supplies? For
Uh,
for 15 people?
I can do that. I can do that. I'll give it to you for 70 gold pieces.
That's a lot of money.
I feel like that's a lot less than it should be. Actually.
Mr. Lincoln's or Mr. Jackson's in a pretty good mood. He's been enjoying the fine wine that I bring from parts of the world.
Well, look, I will, I'd say that's a fair deal.
Is done.
How long do you think it'll take for you to get us this these the supplies for the 2 weeks? About a day or two?
Them delivered to you in tomorrow morning.
Thank you, sir.
You can see he's sort of stumbling around. Lincoln sort of says, "Easy now, friend. Why don't you tell me more about them shadows in the trees, huh?" As he sort of begins sort of dragging him on. As you can see, he looks over his shoulder and says, "I'll tell you if I learn anything else about him. This guy seems to know what's going on in this town."
Concern.
Thanks, man.
Alright. Is there anything you would like to do in a town of 300? You could do Lumber Town. Lumberton.
No!
God, there's less to do there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's more than 300 people in Lumberton, and there's less to do. I kill myself if we're in Lumberton.
What about Greensboro? Can you get there?
That's not a lot better.
Baby steps, I guess.
Yeah, baby steps. We're gonna work towards going to
Yeah,
Lumberton.
we're gonna get through Fayetteville first.
No, Fayetteville's dead last. Fuck that.
I thought Myrtle Beach was dead last.
No, we don't go to Myrtle Beach at all. It ain't worth
No,
it.
you know where you don't want to go? Quinby.
Did you say you don't want to go to
Quinby,
Wendy's?
South Carolina.
No, what? You know you don't want to go to Wendy's?
No.
Why not? I thought you liked Wendy's not slap you on the face.
Oh shit.
God damn! Got him! Damn, Nick over here with the got'ems.
Alright. It'll be a day before it's delivered, probably another day to load up and set off. 2 weeks for worth of gold for 15 people is 70 gold pieces is actually quite cheap for it.
Yeah, that's why I just said I would take it. That's
It's realistically very cheap for the most part, and it'll get you a nice, good long distance, considering how fast the airship can fly. You are able to sort of pit around town. You see it's pretty bright and sunny day with not a cloud in the sky. As you can see, after a while, the tours of the airship end. You know, there's only so many people in town, and once the excitement is worn off, most people just go about their daily business. You can hear the sort of sawing sound in the distance as the lumber mill continues to work via mule power. And as the sky begins to darken just ever so slightly, Lincoln sort of heads back to the ship. He's got sort of a little bit of a tinge of red to his cheeks, and you can see hanging from his belt is a finely hewn wooden tankard, much like yours. It looks like he has also visited the bar in this town, and had a drink or two. But he sort of smiles broadly and says, "Even the littlest towns got interesting stuff going on in them. Even the littlest towns."
What did you do? What did you do to the Jackson fellow?
What do you mean? I gave him a drink and I made a pleasant conversation with him.
You know, at this point, I really appreciate the discount that we've gotten. Boy, I'm pretty sure that he was way more inebriated than he should have been.
Maybe he should be more careful with what he drinks.
Alright, just as long as you only do that to people that aren't us.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's a little bit fun to get extremely drunk for very little effort.
I mean, I don't normally get extremely drunk, but I know a couple fellows here that would like that, actually.
One of them's not even a fella.
Yeah, one of them's not a fella. One of them's indeed a lady. She loves being drunk.
I heard a couple of rumors around town. Since he's gone into the town, he got 3 rumors. For the most part, things are pretty mundane, as you would understand. Apparently, they say that the proprietor of the inn and tavern / bar is watering down her drinks. Maybe true, maybe not. I myself went to go test it, and I did have a couple, but they seem to do the job pretty well. I heard that the some of the local kids might have gotten into a little bit of trouble with the sheep down by the lumber mill. Not anything crazy. Yeah, of course. Towns like this they keep livestock and whatnot.
What did they do to the sheep?
Well, that's what I was a little bit worried about it at first. Like they might have been done something weird. But apparently they were basically lighting their fur on fire and seeing which one would run faster.
Oh boy.
You know the kind of trouble that kids can get into.
Holy shit!
Apparently one of the...
Yeah, my childhood was boring as fuck compared to that.
Apparently one of the sheep got burnt up pretty bad, although none of them died, and there's some argument over who's really responsible amongst the kids, and I think they're going to end up having to... They're going to have to end up splitting the cost of that sheep 3 ways, because once it gets burnt like that, its wool won't come back what.
Man, I should have grown up in Lumberton.
that is actually something that would happen in Lumberton.
There is the other matter that interesting. I actually told him I might ask about you looking into this. This is not quite as explainable as a couple of young kids having some fun with sheep. Apparently they haven't seen the moon for about a month and a half.
That's odd.
Concern.
Yeah, I told him I don't think that's normal. Because I've been to a lot of places there was always a moon. But they said it about a month and a half ago. It's basically just like it's gone. I was like, you talking about like a new moon? Like, it's just, the moon's not really there. It's almost like it was plucked out the sky, apparently. It's like a big black void.
How long ago was the fight with the Redeemer?
It's been about, what, 2 weeks now?
At this point, it's been a little while. Not probably... I can go to my notes and give you the exact date. Let me go ahead and move the time itself to the correct date, because you had another...
No, I'm just wondering if, like, if this coincides with the celestial moon rising.
Because we'd seen the moon up until we got here, correct?
It was probably, date that this occurred was on March the 23rd, so it's not been a month yet. You could see the moon going in too, also.
Yeah, so we've seen the moon.
We've seen the moon.
Hello, moon.
Yeah, like,
I see the moon and the moon sees me.
Shut the fuck up, please.
But it was not nighttime when you arrived at the town.
yeah, so, alright, in the proximity of town, moon is gone. Odd. Did they mention if the stars were gone, or is it just the
They
moon?
can see the stars still. That's the damnedest thing. I was like, maybe it's just like a really big tree, or maybe there's something covering the sky. No, they can see the stars.
Odd.
Any like strange creatures or anything?
Well, that's what I was asking about the
Right.
shadows in the trees earlier. Apparently, they started seeing weird stuff at night in the trees. I'm not talking about like beasts, like owlbears. They look like people. None of them ever got
Owlbear-shaped people.
None of them ever got close enough for them to see. I don't think for the most part they're pretty afraid to go out in the woods at night. Probably for good reason. It's pretty wild lands. But about that time they started seeing weird stuff going on in the forest. Damnest thing is they don't seem that worried
Odd
about it. They just
indeed.
thought they think it's odd, but they're not too worried about it. It was the damnedest thing. I guess when you're from simple
what
living folk
fake-
like this, you just kind of take
I wonder
things
not
as
even
they
what
come.
would make. I wonder what purpose that would serve. But you know, I guess we'll see.
So, I myself might go have a lay down in my bunk.
I imagine we have time enough to look into it.
Well, if not, you know, these people are very salt of the earth.
I-
Morons. I'll be fine.
What did I miss?
I'm gonna be in my bunk. I've had a little bit to drink. Had a very busy, hard day. As he goes down, heads to the he heads to the cabins, with the door shut behind him. Wow, that guy's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll fit right in.
That's fair.
All right. What would you like to do? You've got a couple places you can go into town. You can try the tavern / inn, asking for more information. You can seek out the man Jackson to ask about, maybe procure more information or do a little bit more probing. You can go into the woods and try to find stuff out. There's a lot of things you could do. You can stay on the ship and just leave. Doesn't seem too wildly essential.
What do y'all think, guys?
I think we just spend some time to look into it.
Aruna says, "The moon disappearing?"
Nah, we don't fucking care. What you think, Aruna.
Yeah, who cares about
Goddamn
Aruna's backstory?
fucking elf. Who cares?
I'll be damned if I stand
Ooh.
for it. So I'm going to sit down.
I fucking hate you, Colin.
Sorry.
Boy.
I like how every time you have like you're going to progress someone's own personal story, they're not here for it.
Yep. So now I'm working on setup for next week. Whenever we hit the main part of it.
Oh look, next week's gonna be a Max week, not here. Next week's gonna be an Ito week, not here. Next week's gonna be an Aruna week, not here.
You can go into town and ask about stuff that people might have seen. At this point, it's more of an investigation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In fact, I'll let y'all think about it. I'm gonna go get another beer. All right, that's fine.
I'm actually just gonna ask Nipsey about seeing if we need more lumber to maybe upgrade the boat a little.
It can be.
It's been a while since Reed had a little meditative role play.
She says, "Well, a little bit of lumber is always useful. You never know. It looks like we might have sustained some very minor damage, realistically, whenever we hit the landing. There's a couple of cracked boards and things like that. Nothing too bad, but we'd probably use a little bit of lumber to shore it up. It wasn't the best landing I've ever done, but I have not landed many airships. In fact, I think that's the first time I've ever landed one."
Whoa, Connor's here.
Holy shit, he's back.
Connor,
Yeah, I heard you.
we missed you.
Sandra was very excited, so it took a little while to get her to leave.
Be quiet, child. I must play video games with my
Basically,
friends.
Now go get Tommy. Eat him.
I'll go message Tommy.
But now that you're back, Connor, they have, they decided, well, they were given the choice between setting down either in the town of Rhone, which is near the Emperor's March. It's directly on the road, essentially.
That's the main street of Stallreich, right?
Yes. Or they had the opportunity to go a little bit out of the way and land in the town of Primrose, which is off the beaten path, but it's out of the way. It's on the edge of the Grunwald forest. They decided to go to Primrose, to sort of keep out the, sort of generally stay out the way and stay off the road. Unfortunately, Nipsey Brightbuckle's landing was not bad, but it was not great. It did crash down a little bit. Suffered very minor damage for the most part. But more importantly, it's the opportunity to actually fully stock up on supplies. They bought 2 weeks worth of supplies for the entire crew for 70 gold pieces, which is actually a pretty good deal, considering there's a lot of people on the boat at this point, including one extra. They sailing towards Primrose, they found out there was a stowaway on the butt of the boat, a halfling named Lincoln, who was more than happy. Once he was caught, was more than willing to offer his services to the boat and the crew if they'll just keep him on. He is he's capable of crafting poisons, and he's pretty good at going to towns and finding out information.
Interesting.
So they're like, yeah, okay, and that's already become a little bit of use, as once they set down outside this, essentially it's a logging town of maybe 300 to 400 people. An airship sitting down outside a town like that, well, obviously it drew a lot of eyes and a lot of people, a lot of interest, with Nipsey like, hell yeah, I'll give all of you tours of the boat, come on. And she was more than happy to show off her work, and doing that, they met a leader named Jackson, which Lincoln was able to get them kind of drunk up and find out some rumors about stuff that's going on in the town. Some of the rumors included, what was the first rumor I said?
The moon's out.
Okay, that's the last rumor I said. The first rumor.
That's the one I remember.
The one was the children who were playing with the sheep.
They found out. I think one rumor they found out was that a bunch of kids were having were setting sheep on fire to see which one ran the fastest whenever they were set on fire, causing some
Classic.
Just kids mostly making problems. There was another rumor that they heard that was like very minor. Oh, they heard that the ale at the inn was watered down. It's minor stuff.
These are extremely important.
The extremely one, but then the less important one, they haven't seen the moon in this town for a month and a half.
I feel like that's an Aruna quest that she's not here for.
It is.
It does seem that way.
I feel like the party would recognize that and tell that person, hold that thought, we'll get back to you.
That being said, the delivery of the rations and loading it onto the ship is going to take a couple days. Obviously, it's not the type of thing that's just going to be magically snap your fingers to it and they'll be there. They're going to have to gather it. And because the airship is so large and the town's so small, they can't like set it down in the city. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of an airship, and that's why one of the possible upgrades was a captain's ship, a very small airship that could be used to go down into towns to get supplies. That's not the upgrade they sprung for, however. They got the navigator's table. That's kind of what's happened, roughly. Met a stowaway, found a weird town, found out there's some weird fucked up shit going on in that town. Also, there's shadow people that walk into trees.
Dun 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 dun.
Found that out too.
Alright.
Then they were
Completely normal things.
Then they were deciding exactly how to proceed onto gathering information. There is obviously the local inn and tavern slash bar called it's called the Blade. Essentially, it's got a big saw blade above it. Everyone and the gimmick of that bar they went there earlier is they don't have any mugs. They just hand you a block of wood and you have to basically carve out your own mug. Some of them.
Klaus sucked.
Klaus has basically carved a cube that still has the bark on the outside.
Normal.
It's funny you mentioned that. I've actually been to a woodworking workshop where they did that as a night. They had some hipster brewery host, and you had to carve out your own stein on a lathe.
Wood is incredibly abundant here, so tossing out a mug for you, and then they filled the first mug is free essentially. Or the first fill up of the mug is free, so they all got like a free fill up of their nice new mugs. There's quite a few people around around the Blade that you can talk to. There is Jackson, who appears to be some sort of leader, maybe the head lumberjack. Seems to hold some sort of prominence. He's the only person you've seen that owns a sword. Whenever the airship sat down and people came out, sort of tentatively wielding weapons because they weren't sure what was going on. They all had like lumberjack axes and things like that. He's the only one that owned a sword. And then there is, of course, just going straight into the woods and looking around to see what the hell's going on.
I personally like the trial by fire approach. I want to go to the woods. I'm going in blind, boys. Wish me luck.
Fruit barrels, bitches.
Exactly, man. Those fruit barrels wait for no one.
Oh yeah, this be good mixed with some alcohol.
Oh hell yeah. That green one's like what? Apple?
It's lime strawberry.
Interesting.
Like strawberry lime or something like that. It's my third least favorite, but it's drinkable. The only one that's not drinkable are the grape ones. That's why those get left for the kid to drink. And that's kind of where we left off.
Nice.
Also, they had a discussion of what to name the ship. They've got it down to a few different possible names for the ship, tossed out by various different people, including Nipsey Brightbuckle herself. A couple of hers that she had ideas for. The first, the Cheese Grater. The Sparking Pantaloons.
What's the ship look like?
It is a very long and it's surprisingly long. It has it's exactly what you would expect an airship to look like. Very basic, a long gondola, single balloon above, netting above that. There is actually 2 separate cabins on the top deck. There's one that is a navigator's room and like a workroom, and there's one that's actual cabins. And then below deck, there's a simple storage that runs all the way to the back that has an engine room where the elemental engine is kept. The elemental engine actually is directly beneath the navigation room, and there is grating instead of wood flooring above it, and the heat comes up out, and light from the engine comes up out the grating into the navigation room. But another name for the ship, possibly Carrington. There's the Droxon wings, the Steel Dragon, Fate's engine, the Harbinger, and the Oracle.
Those are all awful.
Well, Ito can contribute to ideas on what to name the ship. Also, you just called Carrington an awful name. Don't say that around Nipsey. Huh? You can all, if you want, you can pursue that discussion in the inn or in the bar. The Blade, where at this point in the night it's fairly packed. There's not much else going on for the nightlife of this town. As it gets darker and darker, and it's almost disturbingly dark, as you indeed see. There is no moon to be seen within the city, or even around, even at the airship you can't see the moon. The town is, however, still quite abuzz, and they're actually in good spirits. Most of them talking about, did you see the airship? Yeah, that thing's pretty wild, right? The type of thing you would expect a small town to talk about whenever even a minor thing like that happens. You're all gathered around. Ito, if you want to contribute what you want to do, this is the time. Otherwise, everyone's going to do their thing.
I mean, is that like the kind of place, but is there a stage?
Not like a pronounced stage, but there is a fairly empty area near the hearth, well, near the center of the room. The hearth is actually in the center of the common room. It has 4 open sides, and it rises up straight from the chimney rises up straight from the middle.
I would ask if Yonduin is up to it.
Yonduin, who has carved a very nice mug himself, says, "Up to it, lad. What do you mean, up to it? Of course I'm up to it. Are you joking?"
Well, you know, you're a father now. I don't know if you have time for these trivial things anymore.
Well, I wouldn't want her to get too much of a big head and think she can outdo her father yet.
Yet?
He sort of chuckles and says, "There's gonna be a day where that girl's a better musician than either of us combined."
Pretty sure that'll happen next week.
May very well, but it's not today. What song are we thinking?
Something uplifting, I think.
Considering the state of this town, I imagine they could use it. I think we can manage that. How about the Lamia's Fall?
The wife's young.
He's gonna pull out a, what instrument are you playing? Just lute?
Yeah, just my lute. If he's joining me, I'd probably hand him his harp.
He'll take, his harp and the lute, and you'll begin,
Oh no, he has the lute. I have the viol.
That's fine. You, sit down with the viol between your legs, and, he takes the lute in hand, and you begin playing a rather jaunty tune. Go ahead and give me a performance check. roll for hit. Not great, but not terrible.
Sufficiently jaunty.
13.
You launch into a song about the fall of Lamia at the hands of a great hero. Even though, and it's always interesting because every time you sing this song with him, he always makes it a place that's not too far from where you're singing it. This time it's a hero from the Grunwald Forest. The last time you sang it was from basically a tiny little fishing village near Veskermund. He always changes it and alters it to be have a little bit of local flavor. Perhaps inspiring, perhaps not, but that's just the way he does it usually. The two of you, it's not the greatest performance of your lives, but it's far, far from the worst, and judging by the reaction of the crowd, a far better performance than they've gotten at this town in a long time, as many of them gather around, laughing and shivering and roaring in triumph at the end as the Lamia is defeated. Baby's here! Baby! Gracie. Now, your performance
Pull
was...
up the ship generator.
Your performance was... Well, it's not, like I said, it's far from the best performance you've ever done, but it's certainly good enough for a town like this. It seems that your pleasant performance has gotten... has sort of... No. It made the town like you a lot better. The entire group. As they seem more willing to open up and talk about things.
Cool.
You've got a revolving door of people that come and visit you throughout the night. Most of them asking the same mundane questions you've come to ask. Oh, what brings you to our little town, eh? That kind of thing. Oh, we haven't had anything that exciting in this town for near on, a couple years, really. That kind of thing. The standard fare you expect from a small town. It's all pretty mundane to you, Ito. You've formed in small towns before. It is what it is. But by the end of that, you've accumulated, you know, probably not a lot of coin, a couple gold pieces, but you pretty much paid up for drinks for the night, as they're more than willing to essentially cover your tab.
Cool. That's the bar.
Fuck Alan. I just saw your new upload, going solo.
Solo.
Fuck you.
Yes.
All right. Who else is doing other stuff?
I'm in the woods, in
Alright.
the shadows.
What sort of dark vision do you have?
I believe it's 120 feet.
Okay. You walk into
Yep.
the woods and find that you're quickly enveloped, and you're surprised because you don't. There's something almost oppressive about the darkness of the woods around you. Towering evergreen trees rising up, some of them 100 feet in the air in places. They're great boughs. If there was no moon in the sky before, there is certainly none to be seen beneath the great boughs of the dark and tenebrous branches above you. The floor is faintly stark. Is sort of faintly covered in snow in patches where it's managed to come down through the holes and the sort of overhang of the trees. It's quiet, and you can't help but feel isolated, even though you can see. Up to 120 feet at least. Roll a perception check for me.
11.
Out the corner of your eye, you see what appears to be a shadow that seems to flicker and move behind the tree. But as you focus, you're not sure, was that shadow there the whole time, or is it the shadow of a tree? You sort of pause and wait there for a solid minute, sort of holding your breath in, just listening for every footfall, and then you see another shadow that flickers off of the corner. This time you're sure it moved. You're absolutely sure, but you don't catch it in time to catch where exactly it moves to or where it even moved from. There are things moving within the trees. You even hear a faint whisper in your ear. You're not sure if it could very well be a foot behind you or 500 feet behind you. That baby. It's like a freaking velociraptor. Go drink the purple fruit barrel so I can buy some more. The voice whispers in your ear. The darkness consumes you. And then it makes baby sounds.
I look around, like, who said that?
You walk in the darkness as we do.
Yes, but I at least show myself.
But you are not of us. Who do you worship?
Trying to think of what Klaus would answer to that. I worship no god, just the people of the land and the road I walk.
Alright. You can see it's almost like the darkness begins to close in, and you realize this isn't normal darkness. There's a magical darkness in this forest. As it's your dark vision is beginning to sort of close in all about you. And within the encroaching darkness, just at the edge of it, you can see the occasional shadow, sort of taking a mist-like form. At least a dozen of them, sort of appearing and then sort of fading back into the darkness and then reappearing in different places as they can move through the darkness from one shadow to the next. As it closes into about 20 feet from you, it stops and you just basically make out the faint sort of well, in dark vision, everything's in grayscale, essentially, so you can make out, like, gray boughs and the white undergrowth beneath you from bits of snow and things like that. And they merely watch you.
Damn, that's it?
And then it begins to close in more. It's 10 feet away.
I'm gonna start walking out. I'm gonna back out of this.
It doesn't move. You walk to the edge of the darkness, and almost immediately, a shadowy form appears and attempts to grab you. Go ahead and make an athletics, or it's a grapple check, so it's an acrobatics or athletics.
Alright. 18.
As you rush out, you feel, as you try to like push into the darkness, hands grab you. and bind and sort of hold you in place, and you're in basically a sea of black. You can't hear anything or see anything. You can just feel hands that hold you tightly. You can hear faint whispers in your ear, mutters. You can feel not just two hands, it feels like multiple hands that are binding you in place, sort of dragging you through the forest. You can actually feel yourself being slamming, sort of brushing against trees. You can feel branches hitting your face. What would you like to do?
Cry mostly.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder if I'm gonna try and fight this or.
No, hills have eyes. This is the sequel. The trees have arms.
We're not there, Beaver.
I know.
We can't help you.
I'm gonna try and get out of it.
Okay. Same check. Try to break a grapple.
25.
Alright. This time, you manage to sort of begin yanking yourself away from it. You can feel the hands try to grasp onto you, hold on to you, but as you sort of reach out, trying to find purchase on anything, perhaps a branch, perhaps the ground, perhaps a root, you do manage to wrap one hand around a small trunk of a tree that grows in the underbrush. And it stops you from dragging you away. As you hold on for dear life to this tree, you can feel it bending. In fact, you even hear it kind of beginning to break and snap in some places as the hands continue pulling on you. As you reach down and you punch at the people that are dragging you away, grasping futilely at the tree and at the people dragging you. You feel your hands running across flesh and across hair and across what feels like cloth. And as you struggle with all your might to sort of slip out of their grasp, the darkness is gone. The shadows retreated. You have one hand that is wrapped around like a very small birch tree that you can see is cracked at the base. It's nearly been ripped out of the ground where they were dragging you. You have in your hand what appears to be a piece of cloth that was ripped off the robes of one of the things that was dragging you away. However, beyond that, it seems like the shadows have fled deep back into the woods.
Bail. I'm gonna fucking bail. I'm not even gonna look back. I'm just gonna fucking bolt right back to the village.
Cool, make a survival check. You don't know where the fuck they dragged you in these woods.
Awesome. Oh wait, not roll 20. Hang on.
Does Klaus have an earring?
Yeah.
Yes, everyone has an earring at this point.
I thought Tommy didn't. Or did we get one made?
As far as I know, Tommy doesn't.
Tommy's got all the earrings because he's a beautiful elf lady.
Jet gauges.
That's
I got
fair.
15.
You're stuck in the forest for a while, trying to find your way out. Likely hours before you manage to crawl your way out of there. And yet the shadows never return. You do see a couple of very inquisitive owlbear cubs that quickly retreat away from you, back into the forest, but for the most part you're left unperturbed as you spend about 3 hours just trying to crawl your way and find your way out of this forest. You definitely did not walk 3 hours in, so they must have dragged you quite a distance. But as you emerge, you see, much to your relief, the lights of Primrose in the distance.
Oh,
Just to
thank God.
make sure, that's Primrose that I'm hearing?
Yes, the town is called Primrose.
And as soon as I see the town, I'm gonna get on the earpiece and say, "Guys, do not go in the woods." There's some bad shit going on with us.
Like bad shit, like we need to leave. Bad shit, we need to take care of it. Bad shit, we can just ignore it. What like you gotta be specific, boss. You can't just drop that on the loudspeaker, man. What do we gotta do? And I take my earring out.
I don't want to be a part of the solution. But I relay basically all that happened with the hands clawing.
Fucked up shit
And-
happened.
And all I've got left is this cloth. So I mean, what I saw was real.
A cloth.
A
Cloth,
piece of
yeah.
cloth that was ripped off from the robe.
What about the verdant breed for the vehicle? What color is it? What color's the ship?
It's brown. It's just an airship. It's got a
Sweet.
plain brown gondola. And if you want it
Can you name
colored
it-
and
can you
upgraded,
name it
you can
Gapata
pay for it
one?
to be colored and upgraded. The point is you can upgrade it.
We should call it Gapata 1.
It's just. I like the verdant.
The gondola's
mind
brown.
it,
The balloon is canvas.
Oh, it's a balloon powered airship.
Yes, it's lifted by balloon. It's propelled forward by the elemental engine instead of like a propeller or anything like that.
Got it. So it's kind of like a magical small zeppelin.
Yes.
Okay. You said it's an elemental engine.
It's called the elemental engine.
Does it have an elemental in it?
It does not. It's called the elemental engine because it is able to essentially bend the sort of elemental energy or energy from the elemental plane that sort of bleeds over into this one. That's why fire exists. That's why air exists. It sort of is able to actually almost create a slipstream by bending the air energy in front of it to propel it forward. And if with enough power, it can actually bend into other planes.
Okay.
And currently, it is able to even bend into the Feywild currently. Or not, it's not able to completely go into it, but it's able to bend parts of the Feywild, because that is a material plane that sits over the material plane. It's a secondary plane. It's a mirror
I mean,
plane.
we could be lame as fuck and call it the Dawn Trevor.
Fred was also a name that was
Skyweaver.
proposed for it.
What, Beaver?
Skyweaver.
Ooh, I like Skyweaver. That's not bad.
We call it the Butt Blaster. It's got a glowing engine on the
Colin,
back.
shut the fuck up.
Call it the Flying Modium.
Nah, man, this is Colin's time to be funny.
I like the Skyweaver, actually. That's not bad. Nick?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the one that I put forth. So
What did you put forth?
I don't know which one that was, because I might not have been here for
I
it.
was given all of them at once. I don't know whose was here.
the Fate engine.
The Fate engine?
I also just like the ones that have to do with the prophecy.
Yeah, I was really big on Harbinger. I like that one.
Oh, well, one of them I was thinking of was literally just.
I feel like
prophecy,
giving our
but-
aerial transport vessel that's likely going to be destroyed after something is probably a bad fucking idea.
I don't get the impression that it's going to be destroyed anytime soon.
We could name it the Seven Arms.
The Septipus. Well, that's a discussion you can have at some point. Who else was doing what? You stagger out of the freaking woods. You've got all sorts of cuts and bruises on you, but you're pretty much okay. But outside of the scare.
Yeah, I'm gonna head straight to the bar and try to forget that.
Who can blame you?
Said I was looking for a place to meditate. If this is while I was meditating, I would have taken the ear one.
All gathering at the bar. Did you say he was gonna get lumber?
Yeah, I was gonna just ask about what it would cost for us to get some extra lumber and stuff for the ship.
in a town like this that is super, like, rich in lumber, it's actually, for the most part, pretty freaking cheap. As you go and you talk to him, he kind of, it looks like the person to talk to is, Jackson's, sort of second in command. He actually bears a surprising sort of likeness to him, as if he's trying to imitate the older man. Maybe half his age, but same sort of cut beard, same sort of demeanor. However, at nighttime, he's the one that's in charge of the lumber mill that runs, for the most part, deep into the night, with torches burning. And it's already quite late when you get there. He eyes you up, says, "Airship, right? You came on it. You know how I know? Because I sure as fuck haven't seen you around town till now."
Oh shit, he's a clever one. Be careful. I look cool.
Well, I was just figured I'd come and see about getting some extra lumber for the ship. Just wanted to know about how much that would cost us.
Well, it depends. If you're looking for nice planks, it can set you back quite a few gold pieces, but if you want, we've got plenty of scraps around here. It might serve a purpose if you're just looking to shore up holes and things like that. I'd be more than willing to give that to you for pretty cheap. Most of it's junk wood. Well, junk for us. We sell a lot of fine wood, exported down to Erzig, Kurt's Castle, Veskermund, all over the place. A couple of these things have burls and knots and things like that. Don't make it much good for furniture making. But that's fine with you. I can give you quite a bit for pretty cheap. It depends on what you're looking for.
Well, that does sound pretty helpful. I think I'd probably want to bring the craftsman of the ship, and bring her with me to really get a solid down, like what we would want, but do that in the morning.
I think that's a pretty good idea. I can give you a fair amount of wood. Let's say, yeah, probably about 50 pounds of wood or so for a pretty reasonable price. We got a stack of wood out over there that's pretty, like I said, pretty beat up. Not exactly suited for fine wood crafting, that kind of. But if you're looking to do repairs on that airship of yours, it should be quite suitable.
Sounds good. I'll go talk to her about that and probably be back before we leave town.
Right. Well, I'll be here, either that or I'll be here at night and Jackson will be here during the day usually.
Alright, well, I imagine I will see one of you then.
Well, we'll be here.
And then I'd probably just go back and go to fuck to sleep. It's currently nighttime, correct?
Yes, it is. Disturbing nighttime. There is no moon.
That is, very disconcerting.
Yes. Head back to the ship. Was anybody else doing anything, or are we just going straight to, Klaus drinking in the bar?
I mean, do we see Klaus walk in?
I imagine if you're in the bar, you see Klaus walk in.
Klaus, are you trying to avoid us?
Not avoid you. I'm just beelining for a seat at the bar and just staring directly into my drink. It's been a rough night.
There is indeed Klaus is pale. Paler than usual. It's almost like all the blood has just receded from his face as he goes straight to the bar. As the bar owner looks at you and says, "Oh, you look like you've had a rough night."
Without like saying too much, I just like pull out 3 gold coins, slam on the counter, just keep them coming.
She takes 2 of them and
I'm gonna
slides. She like
misty
takes
step
2 and slides
and
one
appear
back.
right beside him.
Wow! What a day!
I'll be like, What
Yeah, as you put your
in
your
the hell?
square mug in front of her, and she just starts filling it up. And then Ito misty steps right next to you. Ah, shit, I lost internet. God damn it. So, now that my internet is redone, Klaus, Ito, like, appears right next to you. Or not shadow steps. Yes, he shadow steps right next to you. He misty steps right next to you.
I, startled, will, make an unarmed attack.
Yes.
excellent.
Where is... Well, that's just with D20 plus, Dex, right?
An unarmed attack?
Yeah.
That's a, I believe it's a strength-based attack. I don't think unarmed or...
It is.
Tommy just joined.
Okay.
Who just joined? Oh, Tommy's here.
Hey,
Fucking late.
you're blocking the roll button.
That's okay. It's a convenient time.
We're done.
I miss horribly.
Are we winning?
Well, me and Klaus are fighting.
Well, I wouldn't say fighting. That might be a little bit much, but...
Yeah.
So I take a swing at Ito, but I fucking like slam my hand into the bar. Fuck!
I'm gonna slide his drink over across the bar out of reach and say, "Are you already drunk?"
I wish I was. I need to forget that, and I reach back over and I grab my drink and slide it right back over to me.
You said that you encountered the forest, and I'll say that last couple words louder so the bartender can hear me.
Yeah. They said that I walk in the darkness with them, but I'm not them. And then they got all handsy. Except there was way more hands than I thought they'd be.
What do you mean with them? Are you a tree person?
If I knew what the fuck they were, I'd tell you.
Well, what the fuck are you?
A person.
Are you?
As close to the word as you can imagine. Anyway, shadow people or something. I don't know if they were ghosts. I couldn't really make out their figure.
Ito, you see that he has a piece of dark cloth clutched in his hand.
What the fuck is that?
I was trying to tell you that this came off of one of them when I was trying to get away. Lay it out onto the bar.
Off one of the shadow people.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything to it?
As he lays it out on the bar, you see it's made of fine black silk, and there is a symbol that is emblazoned on it. This symbol.
Does that mean anything to me?
It is a appears to be almost like a purple circle with a black void within it. Does it mean anything with
the
you?
purple void.
Go ahead.
Does the black void match
Make a
the
religion.
fabric?
Yes, it does.
So it's
It
just
seems
a
to be a
ring.
purple ring. But you make a religion check.
Can I make a check as well?
Sure. Why not? Who cares? Everybody make a
22.
check.
Huh?
Christ, Ito, when did you become so skilled in religion?
I know, that's crazy.
What happened to your -1?
Alright.
I got proficiency.
Uh,
Alright. I'm imagining a scene in which you, Klaus, and Ito, you're sort of looking at this cloth in front of you. And you realize this is a symbol of the mistress of the night, the goddess Shar. She I'm imagining the scene where the two of you are looking at this, and sort of Aruna comes up behind you and sees that you're looking at a torn piece of cloth that has the holy symbol of Shar on it. In a town with where the moon has disappeared, I can't help but feel that Aruna's face and heart drops.
actually, how quietly does Aruna approach behind Klaus? Because I'm a bit jumpy right now, so you might want to get that AC ready.
Oh fuck, I am pretty sneaky, just as a person. So if
Well,
he
do you
wants
just
to,
sneak up and start talking? Because I'm gonna swing.
Tommy got here just in time for us to get to the end, but it's an important time in which he realizes that indeed there is what appears to be cultists or worshippers of Shar living within the woods outside this town.
okay. The fuck? Why do you have that?
Just
I've
went
seen that
to.
before. I'm not familiar with the goddess too much, but I know her name.
I was given that by a delightful shadow man in the forest. They got all handsy, and that was a terrible night, and I'm trying to forget. And Klaus starts drinking.
Jesus Christ.
Given it seems to be a bit of a generous term.
Okay. In terms of me being an ass and just getting here, what has been my convenient excuse for not being here, or have I been an NPC for the past
You've been
3
an-
hours?
Basically an NPC.
Basically an
Okay.
NPC.
Okay. What? Okay. So shadow people, not great. And you said people said the moon's gone too, Colin?
Yes, for the past month and a half, the moon has not risen.
Okay.
But the sun's rising.
The sun is rising, and you can see the stars, but the moon is as if it's been plucked from the sky.
Well,
I'm somehow
Or at least
less
it
okay with
seems
that.
that way to them.
I'm somehow less okay with that than I am with both sun and moon being absent.
yeah, that would be very, very specific implication as opposed to, just getting rid of all heavenly bodies. So did you piss off some shadow people, or did you just run into shadow people?
I think I ran into shadow people, and by doing so, pissed them off.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I would have expected this from Ito, no offense.
I only showed up a minute or two ago.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, someone needs to play the dumbass when he's not here.
I thought that was Lou.
Well, so are we just parked outside of a town, Colin? Or...
Yes, they said essentially what has happened is, I'll give you a quick rundown. So that's basically what happened in the town. Not a ton happened in the town.
Okay.
Also, they were trying to determine what's the name of the ship. The leading name is the Cheese Grater.
Okay. Alright. Okay. So, pardon me. This is either ignorance or wishful thinking. Putting the clues together. This seems a little too familiar for my liking. Especially out in the middle of the woods with a bunch of podunk nobodies that probably don't know any better.
Hey, they're nice people.
They're pretty nice people. They've offered you a great deal on 2 weeks worth of supplies for the entire crew. Offered you some
Which
very
may or may not have been gotten under shady circumstances.
Well, it may be that the one of the poisons that Lincoln can brew happens to be the ability to turn someone drunk immediately if they fail their Constitution saving throw, and under the drunk town leader, he managed to procure some pretty cheap deals for some food.
Okay.
He also found out that the local kids are setting sheeps on fire and racing them.
Hell yeah. I'm down for that. That's cool. Yeah, well, it wasn't to insult them so much as they're probably, ignorant when it comes to magic and supernatural happenings, what have you.
That's probably true.
But where I come from, a good reason we stay hidden is by taking advantage of people like this in the middle of the woods. Superstition and all that. And the fact that you have that symbol does not bode well for us.
Tell me about it, sister. And down's another one.
Nice. Okay, so shadow people, do they only come out at night? Is that what's happening?
From what you've heard, yes. They come out during the night. They see shadows during the night moving amongst the trees.
Okay. Shit.
And I didn't go that far into the woods, did I?
Okay.
You
Probably
did not
like
go
tens
in
of
very
yards.
far in the woods, although you did get dragged pretty well into the woods.
Oh yeah, I was walking for like 3 hours out, but it was like probably about 10, 20, 30 yards in before that happened, right?
But, okay. So, class, you're the only one that saw them.
Yeah, I've been there by myself. Probably not the wisest, but
So, were you attempting to find something or just wandering in the woods?
I was trying to find something, anything. I mean, I thought cultists might have like a fucking ritual site or something.
Again, that's more I suppose a stat more than anything. It's if it falls under gaming or not. But as far as like being able to see like illusions and stealth and shit, would Klaus been able to like earn these things pretty, or was it just for what I guess dumb random?
He has no clue. He didn't check for them. They seem very real
Gotcha,
to
gotcha.
him.
Okay. So, presuming because you or two are trying to slug each other, you're trying to reprimand him from going out into the woods by himself?
No, I was just trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with him.
No, he startled me and I took a swing at him.
Okay. Paranoid. We've dealt with that before, except we had to tie up someone because of it. Awkward stares at Ito.
This
I
one
have no
isn't.
idea.
This one's not a magical compulsion, at least.
Yeah.
If you tie me up with things, will only get more fun.
Jesus Christ. We don't need that right now.
Cast hold person.
Klaus has
on
an erection.
Klaus. No, I don't. Disregard.
Ooh, what are you going to do to me?
Jesus Christ. Did I come in at the best time or the worst time possible?
Probably the best.
Both.
Well, not the second best time. The best time.
Birds?
The best time would have been when you found out that there was no moon for a month and a half. But the second best time is discovering the symbol of Shar.
Okay.
The burst time.
Okay. I guess since it's the inverse of my shit, Colin, how much do I know, or is that like a check to kind of figure out?
You can make a history check
Oh hell yeah!
or a religion
Probably.
check.
See which one I'm good at. Probably neither. Both are the same. 16.
Right. You look at it. You know that Shar is the mistress
is it
of
Shar
night.
or
Shar.
Char?
Shar. S-H-A-R. Shar is the antithesis of Selune. She is the mistress of the night. She is the dark side of the moon. You know that she is. She does have worshippers, and they are scattered and small, just like your people are, but they are essentially enemies of yours.
Gotcha.
They are called the Sisters Who Were. They are typically
Okay.
all female.
Is this? Do I know about the whole Underdark connection at all? Because as a person, I know Drow are related a lot of the time, like female Drow and stuff, like Shatter Kai and things like that. But I don't know how much that plays into what I would know.
Many, as the, like, the Lady of the Night and this sort of Dark Lady, the Mistress of Darkness, she does have worshippers amongst anyone who worships that kind of darkness, and there are some in the Underdark. They're not super, she's not super common, and not amongst Drow, who also, in fact, she wouldn't be very high on the list of Drow, people that Drow worship, but there would be some that do.
Oh yeah, Shatter Kai's Raven Queen. I'm letting my brain get mixed up. Anyway, here's a thought, Klaus. Don't go wandering around in the middle of the night anymore. You might not come
Yeah,
back
see,
next
the
time.
fun part about my first D&D campaign is that I'm also stumbling into things for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
That's half of what's so much fun about this.
Well, I'm inclined to sleep during the day because I'm weird as shit like that, but also because if there's shadow people running around at night, I want to know about it. So I don't know what your plans are, but you've probably changed my day a little bit.
It is indeed late night at this point. You've been up all day, but you've still got at least one day before the ship is completely loaded up and ready to go. A day to plan, a day to wonder, to figure out what you're going to do about these Shar worshippers, and try, not only that, what you can figure out about why they're here. Who knows? You'll have to figure that out next time, because I think that's a pretty good place to end it, because I do have to go pee. And like I said, I kind of wanted to keep a short one, because people around doing Valentine's Day stuff. And loving.
I have to do some laundry, but when I'm back I can host Valheim.
Alright, we'll end it right there then.